Hi, this is Andrew Krug, the Global Community Manager for Niantic Labs, and you're listening to the Agent Academy podcast.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/agentacademy. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle or MP3 player. And now, welcome to the Agent Academy.
Downloading latest intel package. Welcome back. I was getting worried about you.
Agent Academy, episode number 45, recorded on January 29th, 2019. I'm Agent Goonie Guy.
I'm Agent Sally Belly.
And today we're going to talk about stuffs.
We are.
There we go. No, we're going to talk about some First Saturday. There's some news. Not much. I was trying to think. There was one big thing that came out. But while I remember that, you want to tell me about your week?
I do. I think they did an AMA, if that helps you at all.
Yes.
Take some of that information. So today in Ingress, everyone's like, obviously with OPRing and being able to promote your own portal submissions and stuff, everyone's like, use your portal submissions, which means you have to use redacted in order to do that. Is that still a thing? You have to use redacted still, right, in order to do portal submissions?
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go. So I'm using both at the time. But in order to do that, like, I keep getting rejected for portal submissions I believe are absolutely valid, and I believe that because of the criteria on which that they present, and like artwork and paintings and things like that. And I was starting to think like perhaps my stuff was too close to other portal submissions. But recently, a free library, I think I mentioned this on the last podcast, a little free library that I submitted, I got the actual denial that said it's just too close to other portals. So my current denials are like they're like generic denials, and so I'm like, okay, so that's not because they're too close, it's just because people are not putting them through, but they're legit stuff. Like, I think they are. Like,
right. What are some examples?
Okay, because I'm a greedy person. It is a library.
Yes.
And the library's already a portal, but we have artwork on display in this university library. They've been there since 1998. Like, certain businesses in my local community have been there less than a year. Like, they've been in and out of business, and they're already portals, and then they don't exist anymore. And I have these paintings that have been on display for the time it would take to be born and then go to college.
Right. Well, you were talking
20
about
years. And so I feel like they're legit because of the criteria. Paintings are legitimate criteria. Especially some of these are huge. They're like 8 to 9 feet tall paintings. So I was submitting them, getting rejected, submitting, getting rejected. So today I went in and submitted a photosphere for the first time ever. And I feel like I had always felt like if a portal is appropriate, like, it'll get approved. But everyone was telling me if it's an inside portal, it's probably going to get automatically rejected unless you do a photosphere so that you can prove it's in that spot. Yeah. And I didn't think it was necessary because the way the system is when you submit a portal, like, you can't really drag it that far out of the area. You know, like, obviously the thing you took a picture of is there because you can't make the location that different. But whatever. So today I went in and I went into Google Maps, downloaded their app. I am an iOS. Yes, I am an iOS. I don't want to hear about it. And but then I went in and clicked their camera option, did the whole photosphere in the locations that I deemed worthy for my photosphere. And anyone who knows me knows exactly where and what I did. But just for advice to other people who are thinking like, okay, yeah, I'll do a photosphere too. It is actually very easy. I was very surprised. I was intimidated by the process, but I went out and did it, and you look like a goof, but it's fine.
Looking up at the ceiling, looking over here a little bit.
Yeah, you have to kind of, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to take a picture straight out of what you want to take a picture of, and then you should do a 360 picture sequence of what's around you, unless you have a 360 camera. But I'm obviously just using my phone, so I had to do the sequence.
It kind of merges all the edges together into the photo.
It does a really, really good job. Kunika, your mic is like half the volume of me. I'm like screaming over you in case you wanted to know. But then the other advice I had was and this is my advice to others out there, don't use your real Gmail to submit your photosphere to Google Maps. Don't use the one you associate your game to, and don't use anything that is linked to your real name. Gmail, it's free. You can make new ones and then just, Gmail and Google Maps and anything Gmail related lets you choose like multiple accounts, and as long as you're not using that multiple account for gaming purposes, like if you're just going to make that account so that you can submit photospheres, that's not a cheat. And that, in case you're not clear on why you would do this, it's so that if you're blue, it's so the green don't deny your requests based on your team, or if you're green, the blue don't deny your portal requests based on your team, because that's not appropriate. When I judge portals, I don't do that. I don't ever look up who's who like that. I think that's wrong. Like, if a portal should be a portal should be a portal.
Well, and I've heard that on like both sides, like around here, that people will do that.
I'm not saying
because they know where someone's playing. Like, regardless of who's like submitting it, if they know it's in someone's area, they will try to, give it whatever negative they can. But I feel like that's going to hurt your rating after a while, and then just kind of screw you over. So just, I don't know.
I think the entire point of Ingress and with the missions and stuff is to find valuable places within your community. So if a portal is a valid portal, if it's community or historically valid, then you're only kind of robbing the game of the legitimacy of a portal, and probably hiding some historic value from your community. So, or maybe local flavor from your community. You should base your judgments based on the actual portal criteria, not on team gameplay. But anyway,
I agree.
That's my thing. But also, maybe use a fake Gmail account. because even if I believe that way, other people don't believe that way, and they're gonna make their judgments based on gameplay. And just as long as you're submitting good stuff, go ahead and submit your portals with a photosphere under a name that is not recognizable under your Ingress name or real name. Don't ever use your real name. They're gonna find out your real name. Let's see. I've had tons of time off lately because of the cold. I've had no time to play because of the cold up here in the north. The other day, we had the day off. I think I got out by 10:30. I finally had to pack it at 10:30 a.m. I had to pack it in and come in because we were just getting pummeled with snow. I had the day off because the university closed, but then it was just I couldn't even drive anymore, so bam, done. So it's rough because the whole wintergrass thing is real. Like tomorrow, it's supposed to be the max coldest it could be ever. That they're reporting for tomorrow. The worst case scenario is negative 40 degrees without a wind chill.
Ever.
I can't go out in that. I just can't. I
don't know. You have to warm up the car, do some car grass.
Yeah, I'm not sure my car will go in that. I mean, I don't know what the temperature,
right?
oil freezing is. I made sure my gas tank was full because there's a certain amount, like, if it's under, my grandpa always told me, like, if it's under a quarter tank in the winter, it can freeze. So I've, like, paranoid, filled up my gas tank. Yeah. But
Fun.
I don't know. Yeah, winter stuff. Like tonight, driving home, trying to go from work, and like I couldn't see because the salt's all crystallized on my windshield, and I couldn't spray it clean because my sprayers were frozen with ice. So I had to pull over just to like break the ice to like make the sprayers go so I could clean my windshield so I could see to go home. Everyone in the north is like, yeah, everyone does that, but anyone in the south's like, wow, that's weird.
It's like, what? Yeah, no, de-icer is like, as far as I get. De-ice those windows in the morning. Now I'm just using some spray. Just spray it on. Drive off.
That's hilarious.
Are you laughing at me?
Yeah.
You out there with a big scraper?
Yeah.
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 Well, I guess that's like, I don't have to do it like every morning, so it's like I can buy a bottle of this de-icer every year and just use it.
I would like have to empty that thing on my half inch of ice on my windshield just
crazy.
to get like, yeah, just start carving into it.
So, and
Maybe
they have
not.
those
I don't
things. Have you ever tried those things? It's like you just put on your window and then you take it off at night. It's like the sun reflector thing, but for the outside, and it
on
has
the
magnets. And so then you just fold it up and put it in the car.
Yeah, but it would be under a foot of snow, so I still have to dig it out.
Maybe.
And it would be frozen to the car still, so I mean, I have
know.
to break the ice around the edges.
You should do an experiment and let us know.
I can already tell you I have to break the ice around the edges of that thing to pull it off.
It's southern here, southern ideas.
Maybe.
Oh, man.
It might work. I don't know. I haven't tried it. That's I guess that's my week. I haven't really advanced much. I've been obsessed with my janky portal submission.
Well, that's okay. I've been just prepping for the first Saturday for the most part. I did get to go help agents out in Nashville. They did a cover of Nashville, and so that was fun. It was a very small, as people go, op, but it was I forget how many layers, but you know, we're talking in the millions. I think 2 people got Onyx, I think, on it.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun. And then besides that, like I said, I've been getting ready for first Saturday, which is this Saturday. Do what?
So you are one of the contact people for your local first Saturday, right?
Right.
This Saturday.
This Saturday.
What do you have to do? What does that entail?
So the first Saturday, I guess first off, you've got to find someone that's on the other faction to co-host it with you or co-lead it, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And then you fill out a form with basically the registration portal and the resupply, the restocking portal, and they can be the same portal if you want. And then you advertise it and tell people about it and try to, because you have to have at least 3 from each faction and then 10 total people for the photo afterwards for it to be eligible for the badge and the AA-P, which they give to you later. So you don't get it like it's not just AA-P at the time. It's they take whatever you did between those 2-hour checkpoints, and that's what they give you. So technically, after that, I just have to show up on Saturday and be there, like an hour early, and basically get people's stats. So I'll get the Resistance people's stats, and Marduk, who is the Resistance co-lead, will get the Enlightened people's stats, and we're just checking Trekker, like how kilometers walked, whatever they are at that, your AP and your levels. And then at the end of the 2 hours, we'll get them to turn their stats in again, and then we'll see who basically got the most. And then we'll have to submit those stats for the city itself to Fev Games. And then I believe that's all the and the photograph. So then you have to take a photograph and have at least 10 people in that photograph and submit that to social media and then submit that link to them in the final report. And that's the requirements. I'm a goob and I love like just doing other crap for stuff like this. So I made some like some bio cards for it. So we're doing it at a barcade. It's called Pints and Pixels. Awesome. And so I got the from the April Fools when they did the Pac-Man stuff in Ingress. So there was like Pac-Man and the portals were ghosts, the blue and green ghosts. So I got those pictures, and that'll be the front. And then on the back, I just put some information about First Saturday, about Huntsville, and about Pints and Pixels. And if anybody's doing a First Saturday and you want to do this cheap, I did this super cheap. I just printed out a sheet at our local FedEx, just picked like the thickest, what do they call it, weight, pound, whatever the paper was. I think it was like either 80 or 100 pound. And then I'm just cutting them out myself,
plural. You're plural now.
Right? And I don't need that many. You know, there's like 16 or 17 sign-ups. So I just got like 5 sheets extra, made.
Though. Yeah.
And so we're talking $5 to have bio cards for the event. And then while I was at it, I went ahead and made some for the awards for the people who get the most points on each faction. So there's, you know, a couple of those for Enlightened and a couple for Resistance. And I made us a little, I don't know if you can see that, I made us a little badge.
Bit. Yeah, excellent.
And so that's our shuttle, because that's Huntsville, Rocket City. And so that's the badge I'm trying to get in. I also you can set up a mission for First Saturday too, and they'll fast track those, so it'll be ready in time for First Saturday. Mine got denied. Well, and I know why. I did something stupid. I don't know if you can see, because that's the badge. I used the First Saturday logo, and so they don't want any of their copyrighted stuff on it. No,
you can't. Yeah, they're really thinking about their logo stuff.
Yeah, so I took that off and resubmitted it, and they have a whole chat room where you can talk and get advice, and they basically said, well, let us see the image, and we'll try to get it, rechecked. So hopefully it'll be, done in time and available.
Oh man,
it's just a super short mission, but I'm trying to come up with like prizes, just little prizes. Like I don't really have stuff to give Resistance people though, right? Because I have like a bunch of like E&L little things, like a little E&L magnets and pins and bumpers and stickers and things like that. But
you know what I find is like actually old skeleton keys and stuff are like really cool, and they're pretty cheap. If you go on Amazon, you get tons of like little tiny skeleton keys, which Resistance, their thing is like a little key.
Yeah,
and they're really, really cheap, and you can buy a bunch of them. They're metal. I know this because at Halloween time, there's like this witch's crawl that I used to go on, and they would order like all these for prizes to go because you'd keep this little belt of like mysterious keys. But anyway,
that's a good idea.
Yeah, but like keys, like old skeleton keys, is like a very cool thing, and it's very popular. You could kind of go on either Etsy or Amazon and get like a lot of little charms type of thing, like something about that big. Yeah. A lot of them. You could probably get 20 of them for like $10
for nothing. But
I don't know how much money you want to put into it, because
Well, not much more. I'll probably just get a couple of those, like what are they? The gummy frogs and the gummy Smurfs, and call it a day.
There you go. That might be better.
Kind of running out of time. Kind of lost days with the the snowpocalypse that happened.
Yeah, with delivery, it might be tough. But yeah, I was trying to find little frogs for I was going to like little frog charms to give out to my little friends and stuff my friends for like little gifts, and it was really hard to find ones that were cheap enough, but then didn't look cheap.
Right.
Like I don't want to buy 100 of them so that I make like some sort of deal on it, because I don't have that many to give out. But then on the other hand too, I don't want to spend like $10 per thing. So yeah, it's tough finding that balance.
Yeah. And then like you said, it's just like, how much do I want to spend? Like, I wish I could spend more, but also there's like, I'm doing this with another agent from Resistance, so I don't want to show up there with a bunch of stuff and then they don't, and then they feel like a jerk.
You gotta have some sort of coordination with the team, and you don't want it to be so expensive that you don't get any cooperation in the future, because they would be like, you know what, I can't afford all that.
He gave a BMW to the winner. Yeah, that's weird.
He gave new iPads out to everybody, like. So, I don't know about a BMW.
That may be going too far, is what you're saying?
You went, iPads are still hit.
Right. Yeah, he just new phones? Like, what do you do?
He gave everyone an extra device.
Like, so, it's like something I would like to do, like, more often, but I really, I don't know, I the guy that I've been working with, in air quotes, he's been going through some stuff this past week, so I'm giving him a pass for not really being able to help out much. But like in the future, I'd like to do this with someone who, wanted to do it and helped and jumped in, and so it didn't, because like I didn't hear from him for like 2 weeks. Well,
but you don't know what someone's like. Beginning of the year sucks.
Yeah, no, it's busy.
It's been rough for me to, like, I mean, we're a day late on this show because I'm like, dude, stuff's going on.
Yeah, and it's cold. So I'm giving it a pass.
And we've been rushing through shows with me being sick as a dog. Like, it's
you're not sick anymore?
No, I have a cough still. It sucks. But it's like little. It's little enough to where I can still drink wine. It's fine.
There's no little coughs, just little coughs.
Okay.
Something.
But anyway, I think it's amazing you're doing your first Saturday. It is a lot of work, and I understand. Trust me, I am one of those people. Like I run 2 fantasy football leagues, which I know sounds stupid to some people, but I do an award ceremony for each one. There's a trophy for each one. There's there's like certificates for it and everything. Right. I have little trophies for it. I put like little labels. I
need you to come down here and run one with me.
Huh?
See, I need you to come down here and run one with me. It'd be epic.
Saying, like, it's formal. Like, everyone has to be like decked out for this whole thing. We do speeches, but like I like to do like that sort of thing. But on the other hand, if you make it like, if you enjoy planning events and making it a big deal, people love to flock to those events.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you're going to lose participation in the fact that not a lot of people like to run all that. Like, that's a lot of work to put all the detail into it and coordinate everything with everybody. And then if you lose participation with the person that's going to coordinate it with you, they're going to be like, dude, I just wanted to do something nice and simple.
Right.
And then you're going to be like, that's fine, that's good enough. It is, it really is, because it really is.
Yeah. And we'll see how it turns out, and hopefully, hopefully people will have fun. Hopefully it's not too cold. Hopefully it doesn't rain,
Oh yeah, rain would be the worst.
Yeah. It's like, bring an umbrella. Well, what would suck is there's some people I know that are driving like 2 hours coming from Nashville down here.
Yeah, because you're in this like dead zone of first Saturday.
Right.
You might have a lot of participation.
And so if it rained though, and you didn't have enough to meet that 10, like I wish there was some way I don't know why they say that, like, because they just don't want 2 people running it, I guess, but
I get it. You don't want like a couple, one's blue and one's green, to just keep trading off for Saturdays all year and getting all this stuff built up. But on the other, like, they want it to be a legit community experience.
Yeah.
That's my okay. I don't get it. Like, that's my interpretation of it.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense. But
like with you and your kids and your wife in an emergency, you've got half.
No, they've already said they're not going.
Right, but in an emergency,
Man, I could pull out the coupons, write the R in it, make sure it says Ingress, and make them come down here.
Like, sweetie and kids, I love you so much.
Yeah.
Show up.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have enough. Like you said, it's not one around here. Nearest one's like 4 hours, I think, so maybe longer. But
that's rough.
Well, see, I wanted to film it, and I know some people in our Telegram was asking to film it, but
I don't know how
if I wasn't running it, I would think about it. But like running it, I'm just not going to be able to do it right. Like I would either sacrifice the quality of the event, and I know I would sacrifice the quality of the video. Like,
see, that's where it sucks that you and I aren't local. Like I could do one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we're not.
We'll just have to plan one like next year. You have to come down here.
Yeah.
Do it that way. Okay,
sure.
So let's do this.
Situation report.
So this week, not a ton of news, but we did have the AMA. I don't know if you had a chance to read it at all. There was some stuffs in there. One of the things I believe they mentioned, or maybe they mentioned somewhere else, but was there probably wasn't going to be any Magnus events this year. So the things out in the middle of the woods with the big cool portals, apparently they've got too much stuff going on for those. So maybe they'll do one next year, or maybe they'll change their mind. I guess we'll find out about that. And there's a bunch of other stuff. I liked what he did this time is he put it into sections. So if you just wanted to see about the OPR stuff, or what his favorite recipe is from his mother, you can look in those categories. And we did put a news story up if you go to the website with some of the info, or you can just go straight to the post. So we'll link to that in the show notes instead of going over every single thing. And I guess one of the things that came out this week, besides that terrified some people, because I think they misread the information, but they basically put out a statement on their Twitter and other places that said that if you hadn't upgraded to Prime or Redacted, they're going to be shutting down the old version. And people freaked out and thought they were going to have to basically just be in Prime. And that's not what it means. They said in the statement that Scanner Redacted will be there. And what they're referring to is some people turned off their auto updates and refused to update and actually stayed on the old version of Ingress. And personally, I think they were really kind in letting people know that they were doing this, because they really didn't have to, because you're on an old version. You should know already that it could go any day now. But people flipped out about it, like on their G Plus post and stuff, and it was
apps update.
Irritating.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not happy about it at all, but like, I've lost apps because games and stuff I liked playing, like they're not being updated anymore, and so as updates go on, like I can't play them anymore because now I've got a new device and it's not available at all. And so, on certain games I've turned off the updates on private so I can still play it, but on my phone I can't have it anymore. And so it's frustrating, but it's not like it's a new experience for anybody. Like, we're used to this, where eventually you time out of things. It sucks, but
well, and with Scanner Redacted, like, there were people saying that they were having a worse experience on Scanner Redacted. But honestly, I cannot tell a difference between Scanner Redacted and the the old version of Ingress at all. Like, there is no difference to me whatsoever.
Listeners, I'd be interested to know, like, if you're noticing the difference between Scanner Redacted and the old version, like, send in your comments, because I'm not saying there's not a difference. I would just be interested to, like, point out those details, because I haven't noticed them. And then we could talk about them.
Yeah, and I think some people were saying that their version, the old version, that was actually starting to run worse. Like, it was starting to have weird bugs and stuff in it.
I bet.
Which makes sense, and I bet they were getting some support, like questions about this, like, hey, my scanner's not working or whatever, and they're like, well, you need to upgrade. And it's like, instead of spending
we're not
the time
supporting it.
Yeah, it's like, instead of spending the time having to deal with answering these questions, let's just turn it off and get people on redacted like they should be if they don't want to.
Well, even redacted's temporary, but I still think redacted's going to be around as long until we get an Intel screen that tells us a scoreboard, and and the ability to submit portals, things like the basics. Like, I think we're safe with redacted.
Well, and that's one of the things that Krug said this past week too, is that I believe it was in the AMA. Someone asked him about when feature parity would happen, and I believe he said like end of the year. So we're talking at least end of the year to have scanner redacted, and I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of left it, like you said, on a little bit longer. And if they get smart, I'm not going to accuse them of this, but if they get smart, they will add in a skin that you can buy and keep the old version in Prime.
They're already smart, but
well, of course they are.
Yeah, there you go.
I was the people who like to troll them. I was trying to throw them.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
You're playing both sides.
Right. So, but wouldn't that be awesome? Like, get the skin.
I think they should sell skins to more things. I think you guys covered that in an episode where you were like, I want a Pac-Man skin. I want, and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you guys covered that in one of your old shows.
Yeah, and they can easily say, if we're going to put the development time into getting these assets together and keeping them updated, we're going to have to charge for it. But we will do it, and I would happily throw them a few bones for it.
If you're buying a skin, like $1 here for a skin, $1 there.
And then that opens the way for player-made skins, so all your fielding groups could have their own skin for Ingress. But I guess you'd have to be careful, because you could make it in a way that maybe made it
you can say that, but then look at like games like World of Warcraft, where they opened up player modding, and it became this whole other industry for like curse, and you like World of Warcraft itself, like Blizzard started implementing certain mods that were like eventually necessary or just useful enough, and then like they would implement them into the game. I mean, you basically have a lot of people working for you for free.
Yeah, I think it would be great. I just think they would have to have people there monitoring it, because if something did get through, it's just
Niantic has, I don't know if you've heard, but they make a decent buck throughout the year. Right. So I don't know if they're making Blizzard money, but it seems like they're making some good, decent Blizzard money.
Yeah, I think they are.
Compare the two companies, but
they're now worth $4 billion with this last round of fundraising.
They might be making Niantic money. Yeah. Not even like
right. It's a new thing. They're making Niantic money.
Yeah, because like I'm a MMO player, so like I have my own references there, but they might just be making Niantic money.
Speaking of Niantic money, have you seen Dunraven Foundation number 12 yet?
I haven't. I need to catch up.
Have you been getting the media?
I have.
So I've gotten 11 medias now from them. I haven't clicked on one yet.
The honest thing is, media's been dropping more, and we were talking about people saying they wanted media to drop more. There's like, you have two sides. You can't please everybody. It's like one of those things. Right. We've had this situation where people are saying, drop more media, tell us what's going on in the story and what's happening with events and things and how it plays into the story element of things.
Yeah.
And then you drop more media, people are like, I don't want this media taking up my space. And and they're annoyed. So it's like, oh, how do you win?
Media capsule.
I honestly think media should not be an inventory space.
Right. I agree.
It's already propaganda for your own product, so it shouldn't be taking up a slot. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. And then maybe in the future, I mean, we've talked about it in the past about just making a new tab that's just your media tab, and
that would be great. A collection tab. Yeah.
So in number 12, spoiler alert. So if you don't want to have any of the lore spoiled for you, I believe they released the identity of the new Acolyte. So, old Acolyte. Now there's a new one. Don't know what's happening.
The old.
Is it?
Bye, old Acolyte.
Right? Is it the Prime Acolyte? Is it just? I don't know. We'll see. But there's a lot of Jarvis in there, so it's very highly enlightened. There's even, you can see like green tint on her face. Like, I think they're playing it up. And that's 12. So there is a compilation of 1 through 11. I think I saw the T.S. Morpheus folks put that out, or put a link to it out or something. But at the end of it, there was a link to 12, and so that's how I saw 12. And maybe they posted it other places too. I haven't gotten the media yet, though. Waiting for that. Or maybe it's fake. Maybe, no, because it was on the Ingress channel. We should make a fake Dunraven Foundation video.
Always.
Right? Be good.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I don't know of anything else that happened this week. Probably a bunch of stuff, but I missed it.
That's pretty good.
So, that's one way. If you know there's something you want us to talk about, like that you think's newsworthy, please submit it in so we can talk about it on the show and hear your thoughts as well. And I've got a bumper apparently from.
I was waiting for the bumper.
Well,
thought,
so
yeah, that's a long time to wait for a bumper. Perhaps I should say a word.
Okay, vamp for a minute.
So apparently I said medias, or you said medias, and media is already plural. Sometimes I like to say things ridiculously. I say hims and hers for she and he. Sometimes I like to use weird stuff on purpose. So occasionally I do that just for the laughs of it. Don't take it seriously. It's meant to be silly and goofy. So,
about your medias,
all the medias, multiple medias. Oh,
that was good. Good work.
Thank you.
Or this, which is okay. Here we go. Let's see if it plays. It has to download. Is the problem?
Okay. Well.
Here it
Another
comes.
request is
Happy belated birthday.
Okay, another request.
It's playing.
He talks about
I apologize.
Ingress Prime to vent as a host on the podcast Agent Academy. For what's in the capsule, listener comments may be here with another cool host, Zelly Belly.
Wow, that was great. You're gonna have to listen to the show and hear that, Zelly Belly.
I know. I apologize for talking over it. I actually don't get the feed live, so I don't know when these things are happening. And he was having me vamp, so I didn't know what was going on. I apologize for stomping all over that.
You didn't. It was just starting. You did great.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna try to fix that. I'm gonna get Telegram on the soundboard so I can just play it live.
I don't know how to do that. Like, yeah. So, no criticism here.
So, yeah, we have a little bit of what's in the capsule. If you didn't hear the last episode, maybe it was the one before that, we talked about we're kind of merging a couple segments together. Pretty much anything that y'all send us, listeners, is going to go in the what's in the capsule. So we got the capsule. We're going to see what's in it. First was an awesome bumper from JBJ Blaze that you just heard. Thank you so much for sending that in. We did get a comment on Facebook from Agent Ferna. I don't know if that's the real agent name, but they said, we need more Pokey Go in OPR. Old guy is a monster. So
what does that mean?
I think last week on the show we were talking about the OPR, and you had to school me on, the hospital stuff, and apparently I'm a monster when it comes to OPR.
Old guys, okay, maybe it give you some. Okay, well, I guess. Do you want me to go off on a little bit of that before I go on?
Oh, sure.
Okay, well, this week I found Pogo Map. It's a website that you go to, and what you can do is bring up your neighborhood, and you can set the settings in such a way as that it will tell you the cell listings for Pogo, and then I guess the game. This is how I understand it, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm more of an Ingress player than a Pogo player. But I'm about at 32 in Pogo, so I'm not like uber Pogo. Okay, but but anyway, so from what I understand is Pokemon Go at a certain level of cells only allows one either Pokestop or gym per cell, which means in Ingress you could have 3 or 4 in there. Like Ingress is not as picky as to how many portals you have in the same area. But in Pokemon Go, if you want to like maximize like 1 per cell, you might want to pay attention to those cell lines as to like which ones are more likely to be accepted because they're not too close. Because if they're on a dividing line, you know what I mean, of 2 different Pokemon Go cells, then it's more likely that they'll be accepted than if they were in the same cell and just as close.
And this is like, imagine the map just in a big grid.
Yes,
and
I'm
those
sorry.
Grid sizes are different sizes, I believe, for Pokemon Go and Ingress. They're like S2 and then something else, but it's like, so that's good that you have a map. I guess if you try to keep it to Pokemon Go cell size, then you are probably more likely to get it submitted in Ingress.
I don't understand the whole thing, but then then there's a certain grid space within Pokemon Go. Then once you get so many within these certain cell sizes, like the oldest one becomes a gym.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I mean, it's not crazy. There's a logical like plan there, but it's hard when you're used to like talking about Ingress cells and they're a much different space. So it's tough.
And it's like cell size, and then also just the distance between the portals themselves. Like, so it's like, how do we know where to submit? Well, just submit it. You know. I had this little free library. It's a legit portal. I knew it was close. I submitted it anyway, and then I got the message that it was too close. But it's hard to know because I go to some parks. There's stuff that's not allowed anymore, like these memorial trees. But you go to a park and like there's a memorial tree like every other foot. Right. Or the trail markers.
Parks and it's like, okay, there's like 29 portals in a 4-foot space.
Yeah.
But this is too close because I submitted it the wrong time. I don't know. It's frustrating. And it's hard because you go to places where you see things that are allowed, and then you go to submit things, and then you're like, but the criteria has changed. So it's hard. You have to keep up on all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
New rules come out in the AMA, and you'll read this stuff, and it's we have an agent here in town who is a big hiker and submits all these trail portals, and we're talking the sign is smaller than these bio cards, or about the size of these bio cards on a tree that has just like a number and like maybe
those
the
are
trail
legit.
name. And they like, I don't know, like, yes, they're legit, but I don't know if they should be. I almost think the trailhead should be legit, and these little because I could go out there and just make these markers and put them on trees. So I 3-star the location because there's no way to tell the location on these unless they do a photosphere, which they don't.
That's why I started, to go back to earlier in our show, I started doing photospheres today because it's like, it's frustrating when you see portals that you're like, that's accepted, and this 12 by 12 painting that's been on this wall for 22 years 20 years isn't accepted.
Yeah. When
painting, by the way, if you check criteria, totally legit portal.
Yeah. Well, and I've had 2 gazebos rejected.
That's
lately.
Weird. Gazebos are auto good.
And I've had the same church rejected twice. I just submitted a 3rd time, and it was my upgrade in OPR for my upgrade. So I'm waiting to see.
Did they request that? their church not be used?
Possibly, but
That should be in
I
the
don't believe that was
message.
in the message. I think a lot of the generic messages actually throw that in as one of the items. But I want to say that if it's on the list, that it specifically says this is on the do not submit list.
It should, because then you know not to bother with it for a repeat.
Yeah. And they don't, it's like some of that, I feel like if it's a reason and not just like could be one of these, that they need to just say it. Like, it would save everybody time. And it's the same thing with the missions.
Did you get 23s and one person said no, and that's why you rejected?
Right.
Or is it a legit no, and you're just like, okay, stop bothering with this.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of, in this play area where these portals keep getting denied, it's known that it's in my area that I play. So, I don't know. We'll see. And maybe they're just crappy submissions. I guess I have the email. I should, we still have to do the OPR episode. We'll have to maybe do a first Saturday episode.
Yeah, definitely.
So, anyway, OPR is a big topic. I mean, that's like what the Reddit is these days. It is OPR. That's it. So, it's a big deal. Another big deal is Arctic Rebel, who has sent in another tip. This is for new and rural players on farming gear. So, Arctic Rebel says, you can farm gear from the other factions' portals. I know you want everything your color, but it is very possible and sometimes easier to just farm portals owned by the other faction. You will get slightly less gear, however, if you glyph hack it. You will get slightly less gear, however, if you glyph hack it, it will help offset that difference.
I don't find that I know people say you get less gear from the other side. Yeah, maybe factually it's true, but sometimes I get a massive loadout from some blue portals. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still think there's a random factor there. Maybe you do get less overall, but occasionally, I would get a major loadout from a blue portal. So.
Yeah. If it was anyone else but Arctic Rebel, I would flatly say that too. But
that's what I'm saying.
I don't keep a sheet of this info.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know at all. But I've seen it. I've seen basically the argument both ways, over and over again. And I agree with you. I think there's a lot of RNGesus that just goes along with a lot of things that people will kind of think that's how it is. It
maybe
could be for
because
them, right?
You have that possibility with the enemy faction of getting 0, and that does happen. So maybe if you average, mathematically, if you took everything and balanced out, maybe overall you do get less.
Yeah.
That would make sense, because there are a lot of times you get 0 because it's enemy faction.
Yeah. Do you ever get glyph hack sentences that are anti-enlightened and
yes?
Does it throw you off a little bit?
Yes.
Do you go, I'm not going to do that one?
No. But no, I'm going to get my glyph. But but you get the ones that are anti-resistance, and you're like, I'm fighting for the right team over here.
All right.
And then you get ones that are anti-enlightened, and you're like, well, who's sending that message?
Right.
Why would you send me that? But then on the other hand,
someone's hacked into the portal.
Well, but maybe the person who sent the one that was pro-enlightened was playing me.
Oh, right.
Maybe they hacked in and were sending some anti-stuff. That's the game, right? That's the RPG part of it.
Yeah.
I like that part. I like the part where you start to care about your side and the message that you're receiving and who's sending it. And start to think about all that. That's the exciting part of Ingress. That's when you start to get pulled in.
Yeah.
To the deeper part of the game, and that's why everyone should glyph hack.
Yes.
It's good for stuff, but it's good to get pulled into the game.
And the secret messages that it tells you.
That are sometimes not true.
Okay, so we started earlier tonight, and we're going to end I think we're on an hour almost. So we do have a code for you. It is for the website, and it's ready to go. It's already there. So you can go there and submit it for this episode. It is AA Snow Day AA.
I love it.
So just submit that, and let us know if you go to a first Saturday. We keep forgetting to mention this, but send us pictures of you out ingressing, or if you're listening to the show. We used to do this for our Minecraft podcast, and it was great. People would just snap a photo of them while they're watching the show live, maybe with a little bit of like the chat room going, or just what they're doing, or out doing stuff, and send those to us. You can send them to us in Telegram. You can tweet them to us, and then we'll start running those actually before the show starts. Like while we're getting ready, we'll put the show up early and just kind of play some music and have those photos go through. And
if we could put them on our Instagram, that would be amazing. Just let us know.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, and if you have an Instagram, also, share it with us, and we can share your photo, reshare, whatever it is.
Yeah, hashtag Agent Academy, and just like let us know that would be permission. Just FYI, Dragons for Lunch said, by the way, the other bonus for hacking the enemy team is 100 AP.
That is true.
Like, yes, absolutely. 100 AP is nothing to laugh at, especially you get a few in a row.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to get $1 million a month. I'm behind. I have what, 2 more days, and I need to get like 200, almost 300,000, I think. So we'll see. Yeah. So if you're anywhere near Alabama this Saturday, come on down to the first Saturday. Get yourself a card, and have some fun, some AA and a badge. A couple of badges. That badge I made, they'll also be able to get it on the website. So I'm going to give them a card with the code where they can go in and get the first Saturday badge on the website as well. So another bonus.
Cool stuff.
So with that, thank y'all for tuning in again this week. We appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. Again, Agent Zellybelly, thank you.
I always have fun.
And I'll see you next week for sure.
Hear about your first Saturday.
Yes. I'll get some pictures, if not some video. But anyway, everybody have a wonderful night. Get out there and have fun.
Stay warm.